We are live now. Hey, everybody, you're watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. Unfortunately, Jay Krish, my usual co host, is out enjoying a football game. I got with me Jaywolf.
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Hey, Drew. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. You know, I love talking about the epic Rizin Fighting Federation, especially all things New Year's Eve collaboration mega event. Well, hopefully a collaboration mega event. It's going to be a mega event either way. So this is our fantasy booking, fantasy matchmaking show. This is going to be a lot of fun here. So I can't wait to get into the show with you. And we'll have it be nice and fast for you guys. So we'll try to get it done in under an hour and a half for sure. And also one more thing before we get started, just want to give a big shout out to Chihiro Suzuki, the 2023 Fighter of the Year. Okay, he got the kickboxing championship earlier this year. Then he had the upset of the year against Patricio pound for pound Pitbull from Bellator, and then he just won the title just this weekend from Vugar Karamov in Azerbaijan, Epic Rise's first international event. And the upset of the year against Patricio Pitbull that's clearly an upset of the year. Also could be considered a knockout of the year. But his title-winning performance against Vugar Karamov, that was also considered a knockout of the year because it was with a superior rule set up kick. Because Vugar Karamov, if Vugar had, if it was in the Pussified UFC rule set, he would not have been able to throw that up kick because if you notice when it started, Vugar still had a knee down. So and Chihiro started to throw that up kick and it landed right when Vugar stood up. And I mean, just an incredible knockout. And I mean, even though it technically wasn't superior rule set because he was standing up, he started it when the knee was still down, so it is superior rule set up kick. It just goes to show you how awesome the superior rule set is of the Epic Rizin. So just want to give that shout out because, I mean, he's not getting the enough praise, I think, from any shows besides your guys' show, besides the We Are Rising podcast and you know a couple others. Nobody ever mentioned him, and he is a 2023 Fighter of the Year, Chihiro Suzuki. And he's candidate for knockout of the year and the front runner for upset of the year. So I mean, Chihiro's just having an amazing year. I just want to make sure to give him a shout out real quick. But let's get into this New Year's Eve mega event fantasy matchmaking here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Before we do, if anybody's in the chat and hears an echo, very sorry about that, but we tried to work it out and nothing we could do. So, and sorry for that. Just try to buck out. Anyway, we're doing Rizin 45 fantasy booking. Unfortunately, Rizin decided to usurp, and they clearly saw my tweet that we were going to do this thing on Sunday. They're like, okay, no, we can't do that. So let's just announce some fights today and try to beat us to the punch. But no, we're gonna beat them to the punch.
Yes,
we're gonna one up them. So that's how we're doing it. So nothing on Sunday, just us fantasy booking. So there were some rules though. There were some parameters because we had to be realistic. What we book usually New Year's Eve shows are 13, 14, 15 fights. I decided 15, 20 fights maximum because they really have done nothing more as a whole New Year's show. I also disqualified any Bellator versus Rizin matches because I'm sorry, Jaywolf, but it's not happening this New Year's. We would have heard of something probably by now.
Well, you did say.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was about to say that you did say that we are allowed to book Bellator fighters individually, so that's perfectly fine.
But you could not book a Bellator versus.
Right.
And
that's totally fine.
If you put a GP, which I don't know if you did, we have not consulted at all, so this is totally blind. If you put a GP, this counts towards the actual matches. So like quarterfinals would count. So whoever versus whoever would be two matches. The semifinals counts as another match to that maximum, so the finals. Because if you didn't, that'd be like 40 fights, which they're not going to do.
An 8-man one night GP, that is 7 fights plus, or 8 fights if you count an alternate. a 4-man one night GP is 4 fights, counting the alternate bout. So,
okay. So again, I don't know what you picked. If you put an alternate there, that's great. I don't know that. I didn't do any GPs. Chris, who sent me his stuff in, didn't do any GPs, and I'm also trying to get King Silo, who's in fairness, King Silo is the one who thought of this. So I'm trying to I want to get his thing up so I can save it and read off it. So I think before we start off, there were 4 fights that were already announced. Yutaka Saito versus Kleber, Kai versus Juan for the bantamweight title, Kyoji versus Shinryu for the Rizin flyweight title, and oh my god, I just had the other one. Oikubo versus Dotson. Yeah, Oikubo versus Dotson. So we're gonna start with those 4, and I want to hear from you first, Jaywolf. Did you keep 4 of them, or did you happen to rebook any of them?
No, I kept all 4 of those. So we got Arch versus Kai, Juan Archuleta, the number 3 ranked Bellator bantamweight right now, the only man that has a win over Patchy Mix, and he is facing Kai Azakura, who is better make it to this New Year's Eve mega event here, and that is the marquee collaboration matchup, and it's a title fight. And it's for the Rizin bantamweight title. It's going to be awesome. Then we got Kyoji Horiguchi versus Shinryu, a rebooking of that. But this time it's for the Rizin belt. So it's 2 Rizin title fights headlining the show. And then, like you said, you got Kleber and Yutaka Saito, and then John Dodson, another flyweight marquee matchup. John Dodson versus Oji Kubo. Cannot wait. So I'm definitely keeping those 4. And I'm going to have definitely going to have, you know me, that's why you put those parameters for the Grand Prix, because of course I'm going to have a Grand Prix. This New Year's Eve mega event, since the prices already got leaked, or not leaked, but I guess posted, of how much the ticket prices are, and from Daniel Zubicki, who was also at the Epic Rizin Azerbaijan event, Landmark 7, that just happened this last weekend, where Chihiro Suzuki became 2023 Fighter of the Year. And that he was saying on his post that had the ticket prices, they weren't the same. They were less than what it was for like the Mayweather event, right? When there was a Mayweather boxing exhibition match on the card. So there's probably not going to be any Mayweather boxing exhibition on here. Remember, there was also the news that broke that they were trying to do Mayweather versus Pac-Man 2 was supposed to be on. They were targeting that for this New Year's Eve, but that had to be postponed because Showtime, as we know, like you were saying in the intro about how we can't have Bellator versus Rizin because we don't know the status of Bellator right now. Same thing with Showtime, because Showtime is dropping boxing and combat sports next year. So they want to do one more big boxing event, and they want Mayweather for that. So we can't have Mayweather versus Pac-Man on this. And the ticket prices that Daniel Zubicki posted were not not expensive enough to warrant a Pac-Man, especially Mayweather Pac-Man 2, huge boxing match. So I don't think that's going to be on there, but I am definitely so this card. To me,
I'm sorry. Sorry, Jaywolf. I don't mean to interrupt. Did you book the card like main event or whatever, or did you just kind of just like whatever?
No. I booked. I kept those 4 fights that were already announced. Mm-hmm. So those are definitely going to be on there that we know. So that's 4 bouts right there. Mm-hmm. And to me, those 4 bouts are, I mean, they're awesome. But to me, it's like a regular big numbered event. It's not that we need something extra to make this a New Year's Eve, a massive New Year's Eve event, right? So that's why I am.
Well, I think Josh said it best. We need Bob Sapp versus Osunarashi too.
I also saw a comment from somebody that said they want Pitbull versus Chihiro too. So, but Pitbull he's coming off of a surgery right now. And so he's not going to be ready until next year probably. And Chihiro, I don't think they're going to have him fight on New Year's Eve. I did not personally book him, although it would be awesome to have him face somebody like Kanehara. for the title on New Year's Eve, but I think it's too
Mhm.
quick of a turnaround. I think they just need to let it marinate that he just won the title. He is the clear front runner for 2023 Fighter of the Year. He is the clear front runner for upset of the year of 2023 against Patricio Pound for Pound Pitbull. And he has 2 knockout of the year candidates, in my opinion. So I think they should just let him rest up and then do his fight, maybe just kick off next year. So like I said, I'm keeping those 4 fights that were already announced, and I'm at this, and I want something extra special for New Year's Eve because it's a New Year's Eve mega event, right?
Yeah.
So I am choosing to do an 8-man, 1-night Grand Prix. Now, and I'm also, since it's an 8-man, 1-night Grand Prix, I want 2 alternate bouts, not just 1. I want 2 of them. So that's going to be 9 bouts right there, plus the 4 that are already announced. So that's 13 bouts. So I only have a couple more individual bouts that I'm gonna say, because I want to stick within the parameters that you set. So an 8-man 1-night Grand Prix, a minimum of 7 bouts, and then that's because there's four quarterfinal bouts, 2 semifinal bouts, and then 1 final bout. That is 7 bouts, and then I want 2 alternate bouts, and then I would personally like to the alternates after the first round is over. If no alternates are needed after the quarterfinals, I like the alternates to have another fight afterwards, to have their own little semifinal bout in case one of the main bracket semifinalists get injured. So that would bump it up to 10 bouts total for my 8-man 1-night Grand Prix. And then with the 4 bouts that are already booked, that's already 14 bouts right there. So I'm only going to have a couple more individual matchups. And also, you said early in the intro that we have Jay Krish's list. And did you say that King CeeLo, did he send his list in yet? Yeah. Excellent. Okay, perfect. So there, I already know you said that Jay Krish doesn't have a GP. You don't have a GP. And I'm pretty sure King CeeLo doesn't have a GP.
No, but he probably ripped out his hair if he has any, or she has any, after hearing what you just said.
Well, look, okay, and so for my 8-man 1-night Grand Prix, we only have a couple weight classes that have enough fighters to handle this 8-man 1-night Grand Prix with 2 alternates. And of course, that would be, the big boys could do it. We could bring in some international guys, possibly some Bellator fighters for the heavyweight division. And also, if they're going to do a heavyweight division Grand Prix, then I want them to be able to have access to like oxygen and stuff in between fights, electrolytes like Gatorade, and all the same stuff that the NFL guys have, NFL and NBA guys get. And who knows what they do at halftime too, if they're doing IVs and stuff. But I won't go that far. Just allow them to have oxygen and like Gatorade electrolyte drinks in between the rounds. But besides heavyweight, then we got the premier divisions of the Epic Rizin Fighting Federation, which is from lightweight on down to flyweight. So that's 155 pounds, featherweight at 145 pounds, bantamweight at 135 pounds, and then flyweight at 125 pounds. And then for the women, the only division that we have really could handle a 8-woman 1-night Grand Prix would be the women's atomweight division. So in any of those, I don't care which division it's in, just give me an 8-man 1-night Grand Prix with 2 alternate bouts where they also fight again for the semifinals to in case there's a semifinals that needs to have an alternate for the final. So that's what I want to say about that.
You have a question though. Josh says Bob Sapp versus Ernesto Hoos. Since Ernesto Hoos did say today that he's returning for some reason I'm assuming kickboxing. I don't know.
Yes, it's for kickboxing.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. Would you include Bob Sapp versus Ernesto Hoos in your heavyweights GP? Well, I guess they'd be open weight at this point. They'd be open weights probably.
No, I would not. I would not include. He's too old. I'm not particularly thrilled about the prospect of him coming back at the age of 58. I mean, I know Dan the Beast Severn, he was fighting well into his 50s, but I mean, it's just that's seems like
but Jay, I want to get into
go
your
ahead.
things. Have you booked actual matches for your thing yet, or no? This is what
Yes.
you want to see.
Yes, I have booked actual matches. You want individual matches? I mean, I'm
Let's
still on
first
my.
start with your crazy GP. What's here? Whichever one's you start off with whichever one.
Okay, for me, the premier division right now in Rizin is the featherweight division, right? That to me, that one and bantamweight, those two divisions are the absolute premier of the divisions. But we're having a bantamweight title fight, and so that takes two of the top bantamweights out. And you know me, I love the Pride Style Grand Prix. So and the Pride Style famously had their champions in their Grand Prix. And of course, I'm talking about the almighty Pride FC when I'm talking about Pride Style. And they put the champ. So I would not want it to be a bantamweight because the champions are already booked. And also, same thing with flyweight. Since Horiguchi and Shinryu are booked on this card, I don't want it to be in flyweight as well. Plus, John Dotson is another fantastic flyweight that we are hoping gets to be, in the title picture very soon here. So I'm taking out bantamweight and flyweight, and also because since Chihiro Suzuki just won the title at featherweight last weekend, then he would not be able to, be in this 8-man one-night Grand Prix that I want on there. So I am picking the lightweight division. And if I cannot have the lightweight division, I want another women's atomweight. Actually, you know what? Before women's atomweight, I'd like the heavyweight division and to bring in some heavyweights from outside the organization, like from some of the Bellator top 10 guys would be nice to have in the heavyweight if they're going to do a Grand Prix. But no, my pick is for the lightweight division. There's some absolute killers in there, and the champion would be available. Right now, the champion is Satoshi, Roberto Satoshi.
He might be in. He's injured. He's. I don't know what the status is, but last I saw, he was injured. He was like his hand was still broken from the Pitbull fight. That was in August.
Yeah, that was okay. So it was a hand injury. Oh, geez, I don't know if he's gonna be. Well, look, we don't know the status of him yet, but if he's able to go, then yes, have him in the GP, of course. And then also there's killers like Luis Killer, Gustavo, Yuri Ohara. I mean, all kinds of fantastic lightweight guys that could be in this Grand Prix. It'd be so much freaking fun. And so that's what I like for the Grand Prix. And also we could bring over some Bellator fighters to put into this make an international Grand Prix as well. So, and then, if I can't have that, I would not mind another women's atomweight Grand Prix instead of a four-woman one this time. Of course, be an 8-woman one. There's plenty of fighters, but if not, don't even worry. I got individual matchups for you in the women's atomweight division. And of course, my favorite women's fighter is Reina Kuboto, who I affectionately call the Striker Queen. Reina, she's just absolutely an amazing fighter. And just incredibly beautiful and just inside the ring and out, you know what I mean? Her style is also incredibly beautiful. She has some of the nicest flying stomp techniques I have seen since freaking Mauricio Shogun Hua. That's how good Reina's flying stomps. She should be teaching a seminar on flying stomps. That's how good she is at it. And I was looking at the records, Drew, and I was wondering, she's coming off a loss, and the girl that I wanted to match her up with is also coming off a loss. How about her against Sori Oshima? How about that? Or would you not want to see Oshima take a loss like that? Because I think that
I'm not opposed to it. The real money match would have been against Seike Izawa, in my opinion.
Well, that's what they're going to build to. That's what they'll build to.
I think Oshima and Reina trained together, or they did at one point. Because I think I saw them in each other's corner. I'm pretty sure that they've cornered each other on separate occasions. Doesn't mean I don't know what their status is now, but I would be. I'm all for seeing fights with friends. Maybe it'll be like a Suguru Ni type thing where they don't give a fuck. Or maybe, it could be like that PFL fight where the two friends didn't do anything. I don't know. But it's a great fight regardless on paper.
Yeah, exactly. Because just look at their records. The records are very similar. With like like 12-5 or 12-3 or something like that. I forget what it is right now.
Yeah.
Actually, I should pull that up and get it the exact one for it. But anyways,
that's okay, Jay. You can continue moving on. Because we gotta get through KC's, mine, and Krish's.
Oh yeah, no. So I want Striker Queen Reina, definitely, and we could save Sika Izawa for next year, since we've already have 2 title fights on this card already. Okay. So we'll save Sika Izawa and Park rematch for next year, I guess. So yes, I want Striker Queen Reina and Saori Oshima on this one. They have very similar records, and both are coming off a loss. And then for another individual matchup, remember Jim Ozeki of the Yamato Damashi podcast? He was saying that Sudario is supposed to be in a David and Goliath matchup. So that is another one that I want on here. I think that'd be fantastic to see. We know we know the Goliath is supposed to be Sudario. So who could the David be in this matchup? You think it would be Minowa Man Z, or you think it'd be somebody even smaller?
Him and Minowa already fought and didn't go well for Minowa Man. So
okay, never mind then.
It'll be hilarious if the whole thing about that Sudario is a David. I don't know who you could find. Bob Sapp would be the only person who I think would be outsize him.
No, but remember, Jim said that Sudario is the Goliath in the matchup, right? That much was revealed.
Also, don't forget that was months ago. We don't even know that. Listen, technically, the David Goliath match happened at Nagoya show when he took on the guy who was middleweight. So maybe they just were like, well, that's our David and Goliath, and then they're gonna just find somebody else.
Oh, okay. Well, still, that would be one of my picks. Would be the David and Goliath matchup with Sudario. So I don't know who would be the David. I mean, if it's not going to be, maybe it could be someone like I mean, is Fat Ninja's like a middleweight, right? So. I mean, that's not small enough?
Yeah, but I don't think Fat Ninja would realistically take that match.
So it'd probably be somebody in the lightweight division, because there's no. I mean, do we have any welterweights besides Abe? So no. So it'd probably be somebody in the lightweight division, right? I mean, I couldn't see them matching up with a flyweight. That'd be crazy, David and Goliath status. So I think it might be some, but we'll see. We'll see how they do it. And then for my other one, this is my other one that I would individual matchmaking that I would love to see before we get into the other ones, to hear what they have to say. In the flyweight division, Rogerio Bontorin versus a fighter that was supposed to fight at Landmark 7 this last weekend, but he had to be removed because he got sick. So he's still in fight shape and he still is ready to fight. That would be Justin Scoggins. That would be 2 former UFC guys in one of their premier divisions in Rizin matched up against each other on New Year's Eve under the superior rule set. I think that would be freaking awesome. So Bontorin and Scoggins, that's my third, and that will put me over 15 fights right there. So, and I got a couple more to say, but for my individual matchups, I only get a couple because I'm trying to keep it within 15 to 20, keep it within the parameters. So I want definitely Striker Queen Reina and Saori Oshima. I think that'd be a fantastic matchup on paper. The records match up. They're both coming off losses. And, I love Striker Queen Reina. She's just an absolute beautiful fighter in her looks and her fighting style. Just super exciting. And then for the men, obviously going to have the David versus Goliath bout, like we talked about, and then this flyweight marquee matchup of 2 UFC veterans unleashed on a superior rule set awesomeness for New Year's Eve. I think that'd be fantastic. And so those are my individual fights. But I also would like I have a couple more that I would like to say for individual fights. Of course, I want, to have, the crossover collaboration bouts. We can't have them be Bellator versus Rizin, but Drew said we are allowed to have Bellator guys come over. So, I mean, like Hagiwara I want to see him on there too. But of course, we have to save some stars for next year as well. So, I mean, we can't be having, Ren, can't load it up with, Ren Hiramoto, both Azakura Action Bros, Hagiwara, and Sekizawa and stuff like that. So, I mean, no, look at the comment right there. Jacob Ayer says Jaywolf wants Shrek versus Derek Lewis, so they can. Well, Derek Lewis is current contracted with the UFC, so that could not happen. But how about if Shrek fights a Bellator fighter, a Bellator top 10 fighter? There's plenty of guys that could. I mean, Davian the Destroyer Franklin, one of our good friends, Teep to the Junk's favorite heavyweights. He's still in the top 10 in Bellator, ranked right down there at number 10. And there's plenty of guys that could cross over and fight here. And I'm wondering if that also the presser tonight is at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right? That's pretty early for a presser. So I'm really hoping that we're going to get some Bellator crossovers, or, if not
what
Bellator.
What about Shrek versus Ishii?
Oh, there you go. That's a fantastic one. There you go. Is Ishii available? Is he still allowed, or is he contracted to PFL or K1?
I don't think he's exclusive of anybody at this point.
Good. Okay, well, that's a good. P's got a good theoretical matchup right there. Shrek versus Ishii. That sounds like pretty fun right there. And then also, I want to make sure to give a shout out to the other promotions that collaborate with the Epic Rizin. We got Combate Global. They could send over some guys, and every division from lightweight on down, including women's atomweight. They are a promotion that does women's atomweight bouts and has collaborated with Rizin in the past. And besides the Combate Global, how about Invicta Fighting Championships, the all women's league? They have some female fighters that in the atomweight division that could come over and have some fantastic bouts as well. So I want to make sure to give them a shout out as well. So, anyways, those are my individual matchups. And now of course, I got 10 bouts set aside for an 8-man or 8-woman one-night Grand Prix with 2 alternates. With their alternates also will fight their own semifinals in case there's someone needs to be plugged into the final. And that's 10 bouts right there. The 4 that are already announced: Striker Queen Reina versus Oshima, or Invicta crossover, or Combate Global crossover. The David versus Goliath matchup with Sudario versus possibly a lightweight, or they could have someone cross over from Bellator as well. Who knows? And then my favorite one, the UFC matchup under the superior rule set of the Epic Rizin, and that is Rogerio Bontorin versus Justin Scoggins. I think that'd be a fantastic fight. And then of course, individual ones of Bellator fighters, Combate Global fighters, and Invicta fighters crossing over to be matched up with whoever you guys want. And then, another star or two like Hagiwara or Ren. But don't use too many stars on this one. We got to save some, because remember, the next event is going to be February of next year. They already said. So there we go. Wait, P, what do you say? Who's a PFL star? Who is that, P?
I think you meant Ishii.
Oh, Ishii. Okay. Yeah, well, hey, PFL needs to get with the program and start collaborating with the Epic Rizin. They need to continue. If they're going to be, if it's true that they bought out Bellator, they need to continue the collaboration awesomeness with the Epic Rizin. That the collaboration with Bellator is, to me, it's the most fun that's been happening this entire year in combat sports. It's so much fun. Look, it's headlining this event. The 2 title fights are basically Bellator versus Rizin crossovers. It's incredible. It's just so much fun. So, PFL needs to get with the program and continue the collaboration. If it's true,
continue on your fights. Continue on your fights if you have any more.
No, that's it. That's it. I got them all.
That's it?
Yes, I that is with those 4. I have with the 8-man one-night Grand Prix with 2 alternates. That's 10 bouts plus the 4. That's 14 right there. Striker Queen Reina Oshima 15. Sudario David and Goliath 16, and then Justin Scoggins and Rogerio Bontorin, which is the UFC matchup under the superior rule set of the Epic Rizin. That is 16 right there. And then, of course, I have a couple more. I have 4 more that I could have, like I was saying, have crossovers come over from Bellator, Combate Global, and Invicta versus whoever you're going to want to match them up with. And then, another one of a star or 2 with Hagiwara or Ren or whoever. And that's 20 bouts right there.
So I would like to go on to King Seal next because in fairness, he was the one who suggested this. And he is he's like Q. He's omnipotent, and we don't know his true form. So he's not here right now. So, but he did send me his thing, his 2023 fantasy booking thing. He kept the 4 fights before that already announced, so that's already happened. So, here's his proposals. So, strawweight title fights: Seika Izawa versus Jong Un Park, who was I believe she was the fighter who just defeated Izawa at the Black Combat Deep show. I know he's very much against Izawa versus Miyu. He does not want to see that fight happen. He's told me that. But yeah, it's I think Sekizawa wins no matter who it is, unless you put it up against Oshima, then it becomes a competitive fight. Maybe Reina as well. But
and that'd be three title fights.
Well, here's the, I put in all title fights in my thing. I think that New Year's Eve you should try to do your due diligence to have every title defended on a New Year's Eve show.
Well, then what are they going to do for February? What will they do for February?
Oh, you don't need anything for February. You just have a big main event. The championship match. I think barring injuries or other circumstances, I would like to see every title defended on a New Year's Eve show. I think that's a lot more exciting, and it feels like it's something that, like, okay, you know what? You'll get you'll get maybe one title defense from each thing at a different show, but at least on New Year's, barring injury, all that stuff, you'll get some title fights guaranteed. And I think that you can sell New Year's Eve on that, especially if you're not gonna have a big showcase attraction like a Pacquiao versus whoever, or Mayweather versus Tenshin or whatever, or Mikuru on it. You kind of need something tangible.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And we already established that there's not going to be a Pac-Man or Mayweather bout on this. Yes. Okay.
No, someone put Pacquiao as a fight.
Well, the ticket prices do not reflect a Pac-Man bout on this card.
So. Oh, good, and I'm glad they don't, because I'm happy it won't be happening. But you'll see we'll see. He proposes bantamweight #1 title contender match. Shoko Sato, who just beat Ota at the the second to last Rizin show, upsets Ota, if you want to even say that, versus Sol Chu Kim. I think. Did he win the bantamweight belt, or did he defend it? I forgot what happened at the recent Road.
At Road? Yes.
He won a tournament as well, I believe. I believe it was part of a tournament.
Yeah. And that just happened a couple weeks ago, too. Okay. And it was a good performance by him, and Ji Young Yang also picked up the win, too. Mm-hmm. But not as in good spectacular fashion as Sul Chul Kim did. Sul Chul Kim got the finish and got the belt for their tournament there. And I don't know if it was also counted as a title defense for him as well, but it was definitely a big win for Sul Chul Kim. So
I need to watch the show, by the way. It's on YouTube. That entire thing. I think that's a good match. I think that's a good match to make. I don't know if Sato. I know he beat Ota. Not sure #1 contender at this point, but I think it's a good match regardless. Lightweight, next is lightweight. He proposes Yoshinori Horie, the man of the magic hands, versus Kyung Kyo Kim, who had his 22nd win at the Rizin Landmark show.
That's a good one. I mean, he took no damage at Landmark 7, got like a 30-second or less knockout, and of an Azerbaijani fighter. That was a fan. One of the best performances of the night. So he'd be ready to go right away. So that's a good one. And Hori is coming off probably the biggest win of his career. So that's cool. That's a good one. Oh, P, thank you very much, brother. Jay is a good analyst when he isn't mad at PFL. PFL is losing.
I think it's a good match. I'll just say it's a good match. I'm not opposed to it. I think that's a good match because they're both strikers as well. So I think that makes it a very compelling match. Um, Next, this one I don't like. I'm gonna say right off the bat I don't like. He proposes Ren Hiramoto versus Kazumasa Majima. No.
Oh, is Majima, was he a grappler or something?
Yeah,
Is that why?
Majima was. Remember he tapped out Ashida and he just beat the Yokoyama, the young the young. Remember there was a grappler. The grappler is the light match from Rizin
Oh yeah,
44.
okay, yeah. Gee, come on, King CeeLo, what are you doing? Why are you matching Rain up with some grapplers, man? You want to see him strangled or something?
That's the problem.
No.
Is that that's not a that's there's always a potential for a knockout, but probably likely not. I don't believe that King Seal is a Ren fan. If
Oh
he's
man,
booking
Ren's
him that way,
hilarious.
yeah. Now this is
What?
interesting. Next, he says kickboxing. Rukia
Really?
Unpo versus Johnny Case. Now here's the
Oh,
one thing. Johnny Case has a boxing match this weekend. The guy he's facing is 0-5. So Case should fucking destroy him. Like that's like no ifs, ands, or buts. I would hate to see that match. Ampo wasted on a match like that. I think he deserves, with the way that they've been booking the big name kickboxers. They seem to be really doing like big time matches, and I have no doubt that they probably would have tried Ampo versus Kimura had he not fucked it up badly. So I don't know. I don't like that matchup. I don't like that matchup.
yeah. Well, it's probably not going to happen because if Johnny Case is boxing this weekend,
He's gonna steamroll this guy. This guy is facing a scrum. Johnny Case will this.
well, we got to make sure because you can't be having him have a month and a half turnaround for a huge matchup on New Year's Eve. He better steamroll them like you're saying. Otherwise, he shouldn't even be fighting on New Year's Eve. It's just not enough turnaround time.
Next is heavyweight, and if you want to talk about Bellator, he proposes Cesario versus Gokhan Sarakan.
Nice. Very nice. Gokhan Sarakan is a Bellator top 10 fighter right now, possibly even top 5. I don't know. I don't have the Bellator rankings pulled up in front of me right now. I don't want to take the time to do it right now, but I know for sure he's.
So you just continue talking.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely in the top 10. I think he's at either like 6 right now, or 6 or 5 right now, something like that. So that'd be a fantastic matchup for Cesario, because Cesario, has been wanting to face international fighters. He's been doing really well, and just, that'd be a fantastic fight for him, exactly like he wants. So, but I still thought that Jim Ozeki from the Yamata Damashi podcast, he said that it's pretty much a done deal that we're going to get a David versus Goliath bout with Cesario as the Goliath. So,
but also plans change.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Cars subject to change.
Yeah.
Like you always say.
Yeah.
So while he rebooked the likely Izawa versus Miyu fight, he instead proposed a rematch. Miyu in a proposed retirement versus Kana.
Oh, there you go. Two wrestling
It is,
fighters.
but it's also a rematch. I think it's one of those rematches where I don't care that much to see, because the first one was just a dominant. It was just grapple, lay and pray by Miyu.
Well, hey, that Miyu is, she's in her MILF ages, in her 40s. So, that could be a good matchup for her to retire on, be a grappling heavy matchup, so she doesn't take as much damage as she would against someone like, Striker Queen Reina or Izawa. Or I still can't believe they were going to have her fight Izawa, the champion. To me, Izawa, she should be fighting, like an Invicta crossover, like Lionheart Jill, since she, is not the champion. Can't say that she's the A side now. She's got to come over here to Japan to fight Izawa if she wants to fight. So to me, that's the type of matchups that Sika Izawa should be taking, because she's an absolute phenom right now, so she should be taking international fights or that Park rematch, I guess, if that's what you guys want to book. So But I just don't think that we should have so many title fights on a New Year's Eve card. I think that we should save those for the first quarter of next year, because we're going to need a title fight on each one of those cards. And I'm hoping that we get, February is supposed to be another numbered event, right? Hoping that we also get a landmark cage event. If not at the end of February, maybe in the beginning of March. I want the events, at least get 12 events next year. So we're going to need those champions to headline each different card. So I don't know. I mean, hey, it's your guys' fantasy matchmaking. So, if you want all the champions, then go ahead, book all the champions.
Well, so next, bantamweight proposes Joji Goto, the back-to-back Twister,
Mr. Twister,
Mr. Twister, Twisted Sister, versus Yuki Motoya. The one thing though is that Yuki Motoya is fighting, I believe, tomorrow for but here's the thing: he's facing who's Sekizawa's husband, and he's not a striker at all. He is entirely grappler. So he could come out of that fight unscathed. He's going to lose, because that's what I'm saying. But that doesn't mean he's going to get so banged up that he may not be ineligible for New Year's.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to see. But I love the idea of having Joji Goto on Mr. Twister on New Year's Eve. That's a fantastic matchup. I wish I'd actually thought about that, but I ran out of slots on my with my 8-man one night Grand Prix course. So, but yeah, he even said that he wants to be on the New Year's Eve card, if I remember correctly. He had a tweet about it right after he hit that second Twister, saying that he wants on a New Year's Eve card. So King Sela might very well get what he wants. I don't know if it's going to be against Motoya, because if he's fighting this weekend, that's a mighty quick turnaround, a month and a half. I don't care how much damage he takes. I mean, unless he goes in there and sparks him in 30 seconds or less.
If Koro beats him, Koro beats Yuki Motoya, which is highly likely. Yeah.
Well, how about another one that since he had to pull out for an injury and didn't get the fight. Remember, he was originally supposed to fight on Ota on 2 landmarks ago. Remember, Inoue, Naoki Inoue. Remember, he had to pull out, right?
Yeah.
So that could be another guy that's available for New Year's Eve.
I don't know if he's still injured. I don't. Well, I haven't heard any update on Inoue. If I don't hear, if that back injury that he had, I think he had a back injury. Listen, maybe it was spasms, or he could have just pulled something. So I didn't even include him in anything, because we just know this. We don't know the status of his injury.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. But hey, for a guy like Scoggins, though, Scoggins was just an illness. He should definitely be available for New Year's Eve.
So I'm a little bit suspicious that all these fighters from America are having illnesses and they're not coming. The only one who's been able to make it is Ty Carlisle. I don't know. I'm not buying this illness thing. There's something going on with the visa thing, I think.
No, that's what it was. Only Scoggins is the one that had the illness. That's what he pulled out of his fight war, was because he got caught like COVID or something.
Okay.
And then Todd Duffy was because of visa issues, not illness.
I think it was bare knuckle FC issues, I believe. So, we have a question from Falling Star.
Nice.
Can you speak about Ensa Inoue commentary idea live? We'll figure it at the best method to spread that idea to Rizin headquarters. I think Ensa Inoue would be great on commentary. What do you think?
Absolutely. He's talking about Ensa Inoue being there live doing ringside commentary.
Only problem, though, the one problem is that he does not live in Japan. He lives in Hawaii. So
that's okay. That's not that far of a flight to Japan.
But if they're not willing to ship over Damian Brown from Australia, they're not willing to ship Ensign over.
If doesn't Inoue, is he still in Sudario's corner? Does he still corner Sudario?
He doesn't really deal with Sudario that much, I don't think. I think Sudario kind of does his own thing now. I think,
okay. Well, I was going to say,
while Ensign was in Japan, or Sudario was in Hawaii, I forgot which one. They were more connected, but not. It's even anyway. Even Ensign said that he's not so much in contact with Sudario anymore. And the show that Sudario, that he didn't even corner Sudario, but he cornered somebody else on the same show that they were on. For that,
okay. Then let's. So that could not happen. Then I thought he would be in the corner of Sudario, and that he would already be in Japan. So that'd be an easy way to get him to have ringside commentary.
Moby Dick Judge Holland says bringing Ersan said, I have heard Ersan speak in person, and unless you want to hear the word fuck and every other like word and like kind of like this like almost like street California style type of talking. If you love that, then you'll love Ersan on commentary. I'll just say that.
Yeah, well, I don't think we should be having someone that can't not say the cuss. We gotta have someone prime time ready that doesn't cuss all the time.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, anyway, so Jaywolf, we're gonna continue on with King Steel.
Okay.
Stuff.
Hey, but also we have to answer the second part of Falling Stars question, which is how do we send that into the Rizin headquarters to have ringside commentary?
Tell Shingo.
I
have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Besides tweeting Shingo and Sakakibara-san, the GOAT themselves, what they could open an LA office or Orange County office right here in Southern California.
Or you know what?
Hire me on, and I'll be able to tell them all that.
I'll tell you this. That too. Also, tell Fight to foot the bill again, like they used to.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So tell Fight, but they're not going to do that. So
okay, all right. Let's move on then. Let's keep it rolling.
So King Steel has a welterweight match. He has Cristiano Forlik taking on Igor Tanabe in Tanabe's welterweight debut. Now, I know Cristiano Forlik. I think he's fought on Rizin before, I believe. I believe he has. Let me double check on that. But he is a Brazilian guy, I believe. I don't think he was in Japan, but I think he is in Brazil. I don't know if I'll bring him back. Okay, I got him up. When did he fight Rizin? Oh yeah, it was he lost to Carl Albrechtsen in Rizin 15 back in 2019.
Is he on any kind of? Is he on a win streak right now? Because Fat Ninja.
He won. He had his last match again in earlier this year at RCC, so he's still active.
Well, that's good.
I'm not opposed to it, but like, there's better welterweights out there. I have one.
And Fat Ninja's not even a welterweight. Fat Ninja's a middleweight.
Well, he said he wants to go down to welterweight. He said he wants to go down to welterweight, which I guess if you want to kind of give him an easy matchup, you can kind of go that route. I'm not opposed to it. What we did? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm on the YouTube. I don't even remember that he knocked down Albertson. That was like, oh my god, that's way back. I had to rewatch that fight to get the full to remember his solo Rizin thing. But well, listen, I think that Igor is going to be on the show. I think they're going to announce because he's been training a lot. I'm watching his
well, then you know what, Drew? That's a prime candidate to bring in somebody from Bellator to fight him. They have plenty of guys. I mean, I don't think he's going to make welterweight, but they have plenty of guys at 185 pounds. That's the weight division he's been fighting at right now, right? They can have plenty of guys they could bring over to fight him in that. And if you were saying about the guy that knocked Albrechtsen down, what about bringing in Albrechtsen to have him fight him at 205 pounds? So,
he'd be so much bigger than Igor Tanabe.
But I thought Igor fought at heavyweight before.
I mean, that was years ago. He ain't Fat Ninja anymore. He's Slim Ninja now. If you look at some of his early photos when he used to compete in BJJ, he lost at least 30 to 40 pounds since then.
Okay. Well, still. Okay. So he's fighting at 185 pounds. Bring over somebody from Bellator, and the Bellator's top, the lower half of Bellator's top 10.
Hold on one second. Hold on, Daniel. I'm sorry. For some reason, we're having an echo. We tried to fix it. We can't. So just try your best to ignore it. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Yeah. Well, I'll just say we'll see. But I think Igor is going to be on the New Year's Eve show. Continuing on, lightweights.
Oh, nice.
I don't
Premier
know
division.
Who he got this guy from? Yuji Yannick Efoviga versus Bay Noah. Let me look up this gentleman. Why have I never heard this name before?
Yannick. Is he on the Rizin roster? Oh, I like Bay Noah being on the card. He better be coming off a loss like Bay Noah, so we can't.
I think is this one of those? I think he's one of those. Was it? at Tri Tokyo, they have a bunch of those African fighters, I believe. Is that Tribe? Who has like the Labanas, Ezekiel Labana, and number and some other Nigerian or Congolese.
Oh, yeah, or Cameroons.
Yeah, but I don't know. This one says that he's Japanese, but I'm looking at his Sapology. He does not look Japanese. Let me just put it that way. I mean, he's 5-0. Not a bad record.
Oh, well, then what's he doing? We can't put him against Noah then. Noah's coming off a devastating knockout loss.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to get back to things. So, what about Anderson Silva?
There you go. No. Nice. Yes. No, Anderson Silva said he wanted to be on, have one of his last fights in Japan. He wants to have a retirement bout in Japan.
Okay.
There was a huge. That'd be perfect for Fat Ninja at middleweight. There you go.
Answer your question, Moby Dick. No, he's fought at lightweight. Maybe he's fought at welterweight as well, but his last fight was at lightweight. So, I mean, listen, if they're gonna use Noah as a jobber, it's the perfect fight, man. It's the perfect fight.
No, match Noah up with somebody that's coming off a loss as well. Come on, there's a good fighter. He's got good entrances and. All right.
Well, so here are the last two that he has. MMA, Koze versus Catfish, Ryusei Ashizawa, because they had their little kickboxing match this year that Catfish won. Wait, was it this year or was it last year?
No, I think it was this year. And didn't they say that they were supposed to be matching up in MMA?
Well, yeah.
At the end of this year, so that's probably what's going to be happening.
Sakakibara tried to coax Koze into fighting Kai in MMA, which was, I don't know why. But yeah, so I'm not opposed to that. I think that's a New Year's Eve type match. That is a big New Year's Eve type match. I'm not opposed to that at all.
That's probably one that's likely going to be announced tonight, actually, because that's been said to be happening this year at New Year's Eve. Both of them are going to be fighting in May. So,
and last but not least, I don't know if this can happen now because plans got announced recently. Yaman versus Kintaro.
Oh, yeah, no, it can't because it just got announced that Yaman's going to be facing Mikura Asakura in Yaman's Fight Club, where it's the 4-ounce gloves, Muay Thai kick bouts in the 4-ounce mixed martial arts club that Yaman specializes in.
Now, so Kintaro has been training at ATT in Florida. I didn't put him down for anything that I have, but I don't know. All that going to Florida, he's got to have something planned for New Year's. That's my guess. If he's training in Florida,
well, that'd be nice. Have him against a Bellator fighter or a Combate Global fighter.
Okay, well we're gonna move on to Jay Krish's choices.
Nice. Okay. Oh, so that was wait. That was the entirety of King Stilo's card. How many bouts were there total on there?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
We went through 16 bouts on King Stilo's card right now?
Yeah.
Wow, that went by fast, man. I didn't even realize that was 16 bouts. Okay, then all right, let's hear what Jay Krish's are.
Okay. His first bout, I think he did this did he do this in order? Oh, he might have done this in order. From like pre-1 to main event. So a kickboxing bout. Oh, by the way, as well, Jaywolf, I know your dad is a veteran. Happy Veterans Day. Forgot to say that.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you see, as you can see right there behind, that's his flag. Everything. He was a World War II veteran, and he served during World War II, enlisted in 1943, and then re-enlisted in 1945 before the war in the Pacific was over. And after the war, he went to work for Douglas Aircraft, which later became McDonnell Douglas in the aerospace division, and was part of the space race.
I'm so sorry, but we're going to be running out of time soon. I want to get through Jay Krish's and we're going
to go ahead. No, thank you for letting me give my dad a shout out on Veterans Day.
Yeah. Jay Krish, a kickboxing bout with two 112 to 120 pound fighters. That's not usually a New Year's Eve thing, though. They usually say that for the smaller cards. I want to get some like big kickboxing names. I don't know. I don't know. See, the problem is that all the big kickboxing names are going to be on that Rise show that they just announced. So I don't know if they'll have time to find anybody else in time for that. I don't know. Unless they give Nadaka something. Unless they can give Nadaka some Thai guy to just mow through.
But isn't Rise doing another big show before the end of the year as well?
Yeah, but that's why I think like the only name you could get is maybe Nadaka if he's not booked anything.
Okay.
Next he proposes Taka Kenshin versus a foreign heavyweight coming in from the amateurs. Thinking of Anthony Wise. Do you know who that is by any chance?
No, but he better be coming off a loss because Taka Kenshin just came off a brutal loss. And I'm talking about brutal as in like embarrassing loss because he had it. He had the win. And because he didn't know the assignment, he lost that bout. He had the Kaiju Killer on the ground. If he would have just thrown some soccer kicks or ground at knees or whatever, he would have finished that bout and would have had his first win. But because he didn't know the assignment, he did not throw superior rule set strikes. He allowed Kaiju Killer to come back and beat him.
Sorry, Jay. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to be director. P says, actually, I got a good idea for New Year's Eve. Have competitors from 4 different orgs: K1, Rise, Shoot Boxing, Knockout. A mix and match of styles is good in the Rise rule sets. So you mean like a K1 fighter versus a Rise fighter, MMA type thing? Same thing as Shoot Boxing. Just And he also says mix and match, but Drew is right. December is busy for Kick this year. So other than Nadaka, there's nobody else who you're getting. But sorry, just to continue, I have no problem with that. Yeah, a loss. Somebody who's on a losing streak or maybe debuting, maybe.
Yeah, is the guy that you've had matched up against Taka Kenshin, is he coming off a loss or does it say?
Okay, it doesn't say. Oh, P says no kickboxing. Oh,
yes. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Hey, but you know what, P? It's in the ring for New Year's Eve, so you got to have 1 or 2 kickboxing.
Sorry, Jay, I got to continue here.
Go ahead.
Next, he proposes Ryusei Ashizawa, Catfish, versus an up-and-coming JMMA fighter.
In MMA or kickboxing?
MMA.
Oh. All right.
Then he goes on this for his next fight, says cozy debut MMA fight versus a foreigner or an unknown. I don't know. I think kind of the fight between them is one that sells.
Yeah, and that's the one that's probably going to be matched up. That's probably what's going to happen on New Year's Eve.
I assume they're both on the same level when it comes to MMA. So I just don't. I don't see putting them up against somebody else who's training MMA because then, I mean, they could win, but why risk it? Just go all out. I think.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to match them up both against each other for the MMA debuts. Yeah. So that's
his
fine.
Next fight. He proposes Cesario versus an international heavyweight such as Shota Betelmidze or Hassan Masiev if you can't get a North American fighter. Not opposed to that.
No, absolutely. Yeah,
Cesario
international fighters.
Fighters that are international. You already had 2 that just won.
Exactly. Hey, the more the merrier. The one that just won in spectacular fashion at Landmark 7, and I mean, just keep bringing on in those international fighters, you guys. I mean, we love seeing that. And hey, just make sure that you guys send it in for every fighter to know the assignment. I mean, on their fight contracts, would have a 1 page dedicated just to the assignment.
Yeah, we gotta get back to our assignment now. Next, I'm not opposed to this fight, but I don't think it fits for New Year's. Arato, aka Kaiju Killer, versus Shoma Shibisai.
Oh, that's a nice one. I like that.
I don't think that's a New Year's Eve fight. I don't think that fits. I think that fits on one of the Landmark shows, maybe one of the other numbered shows. I don't think that could be a New Year's Eve fight. I could be wrong.
Put on the February card. I like that matchup.
Yes,
I like that one. That's a good one. If it's not a New Year's Eve, put it on February card.
This one has me tugging at my collar. Blech.
Oh,
Kana Azakura versus Kanako Murata.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Murata just got cut terribly from the UFC after she got robbed blatantly. I mean, it was borderline racist the way they robbed her. It was so bad.
Yeah, but Jay, I got to interrupt. Sorry. They're in 2 different weight classes. Kana is a super atom weight. Kanako is straw weight, flyweight.
Well, what about Maki?
Is she fighting on the Deep Jewel show this week? I think.
Oh, darn! That's right. She is. No, you're right. She is. Darn, that would have been a good one right there. Well, hey, still bring in Murato anyways. Like I said, she just got, wrongly cut from after she got terribly robbed. So she should be 2-1 in the UFC right now. But for some reason, they're freaking racist against Asian fighters for some reason, and just blatantly cut her wrongly. So definitely bring her back into Rizin, match her with Machi sometime on the February card. Then how about that?
Okay. So after that, this one also has me kind of side-eyed. King Reina, who I don't even know if she's still in jail or if she's on parole or whatever, versus a foreign fighter, foreign featherweight.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she's not in jail still. Dan Dwas was begging for that.
Maybe she has the thing on her ankle. Maybe she has the ankle thing.
Bring her in with the ankle monitor. She could be a bad girl with the ankle monitor.
She wouldn't be able to do leg kicks. She wouldn't be able to do leg kicks then, because then she could injure herself or her opponent with the ankle bracelet.
Have him take the ankle bracelet off for the fight. Oh shoot!
I don't listen. I don't know what King Reina's status is. I don't know. I really don't think that. I think her time has passed. Unfortunately, she should go into pro wrestling. She's got to figure out the issues on her end, all of her personal issues that she's going through. Yeah, that's all I can say. I don't see Rizin do anything for women's featherweight at all. That's not at all in their game plan. This fight, Masanori Kanehara versus Ushiku. Even Jay, who loves everything, is like.
Well, I want to save Kanehara for Kanehara should be, if he's not facing Chihiro Suzuki next for a title bout, then he should be having a higher profile bout than Ushiku, because Ushiku I get he's a former champion, I get it, but Vugar Karamov was calling out Kanehara, so that they could have him match up with Kanehara. Imagine Kanehara taking out Kleber and then Karamov, and just taking out these amazing grapplers, and then facing Chihiro.
Well,
so
here's the thing. First of all, don't put Ishiku on a New Year's Eve show, for God's sakes. No. The other thing is that Kanehara, I think, is next in line for the title, regardless.
Yeah,
I think he's one of those. Now he may want to fight. That's up to him. But I think that's one of the things where he's earned it, and I don't think he should try to lose the spot.
And I believe Rizin is.
This is where we're usually, if you'll have the UFC, we're like, even if you're number one contender, you may not still get a title, fight. But basically, Barra,
so Tony Ferguson.
Barra and the post fighters said that he's basically is going to be next in line.
Oh, good. Yeah.
May not be for New Year's.
And Rizin's English Twitter account tweeted out after the Rizin Azerbaijan event, Landmark 7, they tweeted out the video of Chihiro Suzuki calling out Kanehara ringside. Yeah. So
I just don't want Ushiku. I don't care. Put Kanehara on the card. I don't care. I just want Ushiku on.
Hey, Ushiku, if like I said, give him a flyer on the freaking fight contract that says the assignment, that says we expect to see the assignment. Make sure that these fighters know the assignment. Of course, assignment is a spear rules at Austin.
Jay, we gotta get back to our assignment. We actually have a question from Falling Star. He wants to know: should Rizin develop their own game, or is it too early for Rizin to consider it now? Yes, it is too early. I don't know if we can even put it in a Rizin game.
Yeah, because they only got like 5 divisions. They don't even have all the divisions filled out yet.
Yes.
Unless you want to do like a historical, where they have like historical guys, or add in guys from different promotions. But yeah, I think it's too early to have a Rizin game right now, but that'd be awesome because they got the best rule set in the game, so it'd be a lot of fun.
What's that game? I forgot what the MMA game. Not Pride. There was another MMA game that came out that's basically is. I forgot what it's called.
What, the EA Sports MMA?
No. It was for PS2. It was only available in Japan. I forgot what it was called, but it was basically it was an MMA game. Somebody might know it. Now this match, I'm already Xing out. Manny Pacquiao exhibition. If not versus Valentin Hosokawa, then maybe versus Yuta Kubo. I don't want Manny Pacquiao anywhere on this card. X out. I don't want it. Sorry.
How about Takanori Gomi, since he arguably beat Tension in boxing? That'd be a good one for Pac-Man.
That's the one I was thinking of, Daniel. Thank you. Dynamite. That's the one I was thinking of. Oh, no, Shock. No, sorry, Shockwave. Shockwave. That's what I'm thinking of. That's the one I'm thinking of. Sorry, Jaywolf. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. So that's the video game you guys are talking about. Oh, nice, nice, yeah. But that was when Pride Fighting Championships, Almighty Pride Fighting Championships, was dominating the game, making
Jay,
UFC look terrible.
Manny Pacquiao exhibition.
Yeah,
against either Hosokawa or Kubo.
That'd be fine. I was saying, well, possibly Kubo, I think, because Kubo's more of a kickboxer, and but what about Takanori Gomi, since he already beat Tension, or arguably beat Tension? So,
but
no, he's not going to be on the card. We saw the seat ticket prices. The ticket prices were like the same as the regular, just a little bit more expensive than the regular ticket prices. So it's not going to be.
Don't want this. I don't want this. I'm tired of exhibitions.
Hey, they were going to announce Pac-Man versus Mayweather too.
No, they weren't. I think that was fake news. I think
it might be happening next year now.
No,
it might just be delayed till next year.
Moving on. Miyu Yamamoto versus Seiki Izawa for the Super Atomweight Championship. Miyu's retirement bout. That's probably what likely is going to happen.
Really, wow.
Yeah.
Man, I don't like that for Miyu. I like Miyu a lot, and very pretty fighter. And Seiki Izawa is just a absolute monster fighter.
If you think about it, Miyu is going to have has had no other chance to have a title shot. She wins. Presumably, she still retires. She vacates it. So then that sets up your lovely GP for another title shot, or you can have Reina take on Izawa for the vacant belt. Instead
I love
Izawa,
it. Hey, you sold me.
Sold. Izawa, here's the problem with Izawa. Izawa's gonna run through almost everybody, but besides Reina or Oshima, and we won't know until those two fights her if that ever happens. So we just have to, this thing is Izawa's until she loses. And if she loses against Miyu, I think it makes it more interesting that way.
It absolutely does. You've sold me on it. I was totally opposed to that before, but now I'm with it. I'm 100% down with that.
And here's the last thing. So he says, I wouldn't change the featherweight match between Saito or Kleber or bantamweight between Kai and Juan, but he would change the flyweight belts. He would do it Shiryu versus Okikubo, and then Horiguchi versus Dodson for the Rizin flyweight title.
Oh, well, that'd be awesome as well. I mean, we all want to see Dodson get that title shot, but I mean, this was the reason they're doing Horiguchi versus Shinryu is because that was supposed to happen at the previous Bellator versus Rizin event, right? So they unfortunately got into an eye poke in like 20 seconds. So now they're just rebooking that, but this time instead of for the Bellator title, it's for the Rizin title. So that's pretty much it's got to be that one. So
I'm fine. I'm fair with that. Listen, I don't like I'm not too sold on Okubo Dodson. I do like the UFC connection, Ultimate Fire connection that there is there, but I think it's a waste of Dodson's time. If Dodson wins, he should be the next one who gets a shot, or eventually have him take on. What's his name? The one who beat Ursan. Fujita? No. Yeah.
What?
Fujita, right?
No. If Dodson wins, he's fighting for the title versus Gucci or Shinryu.
I guess so. Yeah. I forgot. Who am I thinking of? Who am I? Fukuda. Fukuda is the one I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. No. If he wins, he's fighting for the title next. If he wins at New Year's Eve, beats OJ Kubo, he's going to go back and do a bare knuckle bout again, and then come back and fight for the title in Rizin against the winner of Horiguchi and Shinryu.
Okay, so let's go on to my picks, which I
let's hear yours, since yours are supposed to be nothing but title matches.
Well, okay, so I kept Saito versus Kleber. I think that's a very interesting match. I don't know if you're in agreement. I think it's two against two former title challengers. I'm okay with that. Yep. So Christian said that Gustavo was injured and tore his ACL.
Oh man,
I
didn't
don't
know
know.
that.
Well, I haven't been able to find anything to confirm it, but let's presume, for argument's sake, that it's a different Luis Gustavo. That's that soccer player that always pops up when you type in his name. Let's just say if it was him, and let's presume that Satoshi is okay. Gustavo versus Satoshi for the lightweight title, I think makes total sense, and that's
Nice.
a
I
New
like
Year's Eve
it.
match.
Like it.
I would keep Kyoji versus Shinryu. I think that makes sense. Like you said, rematch, no contest. I'm totally fine with that. Now with Kai versus Arch, my prediction is Kai is gonna break his hand while golfing. He cannot fight. So
no. Don't even put that out in the universe. No.
Instead, they're going to sub in Sol Chu Kim to take the place, and you have the story between that he won the Road FC tournament, and he also had the close fight of Archuleta. Some say he beat Archuleta. So now you have a rematch 1 year later to the day that they fought.
If he would have had more offense, he would have beat Archuleta. If he would have just thrown some more strikes, and especially if he would have known the assignment and thrown some soccer kicks or ground at knees, he would have beat Arch last year, New Year's Eve. So that's I like it. Good matchmaking there.
I do believe that Seika Izawa is going to have a fight on New Year's Eve. I do believe it will be against Miyu for the title. But
okay,
if
you sold me on that.
But if it's not Miyu, let's just say she's still injured. Listen, I know she lost her last fight in the Deep versus Black Combat, but listen, you got to do Izawa versus Oshima. I don't care. Like, you got to offer them whatever money. You got to tell Deep Sayaki, Deep Jules, take a hike. This is going to be our match on the big thing. They're both undefeated in Rizin, and listen, it's a big time fight. I like the fact that it hasn't happened already is kind of bullshit, but you got to do it sooner rather than later, or it's going to be, it could be a thing where nobody cares about when they're like at the tail end of their career, or it could be even bigger a few years down the road. I don't know, but with Oshima losing, you kind of have a little bit less interest, in my opinion, in that match.
Yeah,
but
that's why I said match Oshima up with Striker Queen Reina. They're both coming off losses, and the winner of that then faces Izawa in February.
So next, I got a welterweight, possibly catchweight 180 match. I have Igor Tanabe, because I do believe he'll be fighting on New Year's Eve, taking on the recently released WWE wrestler Matt Riddle, making his return to MMA.
Nice. I like it.
I think that match would, first of all, be a great test for Igor. Igor is maybe the best black belt at a higher weight class in jiu-jitsu in Japan. Matt Riddle, I believe, did he sub all of his opponents in UFC? He may have subbed them all, but there was talk about him returning to MMA when he got released from WWE. And listen, he got the pro wrestling connection. I think,
bro.
Yeah. You just gotta put the weed down so he don't get caught by customs. I think, and listen, I'm gonna tell you this: you get people talking about the match if Matt Riddle's on. It's his return to MMA. You already have people talking, and then he's a former UFC fighter taking on an up and coming upper weight fighter. I think it sells itself. Agree? Disagree?
Good. Yeah, absolutely agree. Let's keep it rolling.
I have a kickboxing match next.
Oh, kickboxing! Come on.
Well, like I said,
it's in the ring.
It's in the ring. It's a big one.
Okay, all right. Let's hear it.
Rukia Anpo versus Ren Hiramoto.
Oh, you want Ren going back to kickboxing now? Nice. I like it.
I know that Matt Riddle is teasing OnlyFans career right now. Doesn't mean he can't do both. If Cindy Dandois can do both, if she can request a Rizin fight while showing her titties on OnlyFans, Matt Riddle can do the same. But yeah, Alpo versus Ren, I think, is a big kickboxing match. I would say Kimura, but like we said, Kimura failed the drug test. They're both at the K1 connection. They talk shit each other all the time. They talking shit to each other all the time on social media. And I think, listen, they've only been putting Anpo in the biggest kick. They put him up with Buakaw, and they were gonna do, and they were teasing the Kimura fights. So they clearly are. They're using him for the big matches. So Ren versus Ampo, that could be a main event on any show, but I think you guys, that's a big New Year's Eve show, a main fight. And you can have that as a one kickboxing match, no Nadaka, whatever, because it sells itself. What do you think?
I like it. I like it because, I mean, you know, the Kick fam, they that's one of the things where they were upset that Ren crossed over to mixed martial arts. So it'd be great to see him go back and do Kick as well, but still be doing mixed martial arts as well. So I love it. I love it. That's a great matchup right there. So, and wait, what did I say? Let's see. Nemkov's back in Rizin?
No. Nemkov's back in Rizin. Let's go.
Nice. Yes.
Caramel says Manel Cape, who will be facing. He's facing somebody in UFC. They just announced, like somebody who's the
former title challenger, right? It's going to be for a title match. It's going to be a 5-round main event for a chance at the flyweight title. It's Cape's chance right there.
Okay, sorry. Continue on. We got to continue on, Jaywolf. So I had Rocky Martinez. Now the only problem is that he has a fight coming up in Blackpool and Black Combat this month.
Yeah, that's not enough turnaround time.
So I did put in, if he's not available, sub in Samurai Mark Hunt versus Kaijo Killer Arato. Now that's not really a New Year's Eve fight, and I'm kind of being a hypocrite when I said that Arato versus Shibukai is it. But
yeah, I was about to say.
You know, it's a fight I want to see regardless on New Year's Eve or whatever. Samurai Mark Hunt versus Arato. I initially was going to put in I was going to put in a Sudario. I put in a Sudario match, but yeah, I mean, I think Rocky Martinez would be booked for a New Year's Eve show. The problem is, like, who would you book him against? Realistically, I don't know, Josh Barnett, maybe.
Hey, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see Barnett in the Epic Rizin ring. He was talking about it. Remember at Bellator 290 in LA, I got to talk to him ringside there. He was there for Fedor Emelianenko's greatest fighter of all time's retirement bout.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, since he's from, you know, he had fought in Ganryu Ujima, the Moat fights in December. And I was like, hey, Josh, what about Rizin? He's like, he said he was totally open to it. So,
okay.
Hey, that's a possibility.
Continue on. Next, I have Kanako Murata, because listen, if Barra loves to do anything, is he loves to sign Japanese fighters who get released by UFC, especially ones that want to Rizin. And I don't think Murata will be any different. Now the problem was I couldn't think of a match because I was going to initially suggest Ao Koriyama, but she's fighting this week. Whatever the Deep Jewel show is this month. So that totally ruins that matchup. I think that's a good matchup for her because she gets a win back easily. I think she easily beats Kuriyama. So I couldn't think of anything, so I just went with Kanako versus Ring Nakai rematch from Rizin Openweight.
No, if you're gonna have Murato back, have her do a crossover bout with an Invicta collaboration or a Combate Global collaboration or a Bellator.
I did have a more realistic matchup. Kanako Murata, and I don't know why she hasn't been, this fighter hasn't been rising yet because she's got personality, versus Kate Lotus, who's a Deep Jewels fighter. She's fought at flyweight and strawweight. And I think
there you go.
Kanako could easily beat her, and it's no loss for Kate, and Kanako gets a win back on her record to get her some momentum going.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. So you can do that or do a collaboration bout.
Kate Lotus also has a big following. Like when Deep Jewels used to upload the videos on YouTube, her videos would always get the highest amount of views, even more than the main event sometimes. So yeah, she's New Year's Eve worthy, in my opinion.
Hey, there you go.
This one I think can realistically happen. Sol Chu Kim versus Taichi Nakajima. And if you remember, Taichi Nakajima had that great performance at the against Ryo Okada at the Rizin. I think it was Landmark Nagoya show. And
Landmark 5?
Yeah. And
or Landmark 6, excuse me, Landmark 6, yeah.
And then Sol Chu Kim, obviously we already talked about him. And they're two, and I think Taichi Nakajima is the interim, or he's the current Pancrase Bantamweight champion, King of Pancrase champion. So you have the Road FC champion versus the King of Pancrase champion.
I like it. Yeah, it's good. Good one. All right, keep it rolling.
Cozy versus Catfish MMA. We already talked about that.
Yeah, that's going to happen probably. We announced tonight at the presser.
Yeah. Now, I know that Suzuki's injured, but I said my proposal was if he's not injured, and listen, if you ask him, he probably will lie and say he's not injured. Kanehara versus Suzuki for the championship. But likely it's not going to happen. So, whatever. And I don't want to see Kanehara versus Ushiku. So, if Kanehara's got to wait a few months, that's totally fine.
Yeah, no, so they're gonna save Kanehara for Chihiro Suzuki. Barra was talking about it. The Rizin English Twitter account was tweeting about it. That's clearly what all the signs point to, and but it's not going to be at New Year's Eve. Probably going to be in the February show.
So next I have. So this might be a little bit controversial. Spike Carlisle versus Ali Abdul Khalikov.
I like it. But he just fought at Landmark 7, right? In
but
Azerbaijan.
he almost took no damage from that. Remember that was a fight against Abazov where he just held his leg against the cage?
Yeah. Hey, but he still won. He got the W no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if he's cleared to fight, I love it. Yes, bring back over Spike. Fantastic fighter. Pretty much brings, just because he had a bad showing in his most recent bout, does not erase all the other bouts before that where he was just fight of the night worthy in every single one. So I like that. That's a good one.
This one I think is quite possible to happen, and I think you're gonna like this one. Hagiwara versus Yuto Kubo.
Yes, I love it. Yes, as you know, I wanted to have Hagiwara on here as another star for more star power. Yuto Kubo is in one of his most recent, it was either Landmark 5 or 6. I can't remember which one it was. He had a 12-6 elbow.
Sorry, Jay, we got less than 10 minutes. Sorry, we got less than 10 minutes. We're going to just quickly go through. I think Kubo's been on a bunch of New Year's Eve cards. So is Hagiwara. They're both strikers.
They both know the assignment. Book them.
Yeah.
Book them.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Next one is a fight that's been booked, I think, twice, but hasn't panned out. Just get over with. Kota Miura versus Felipe Massoni.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Kota Miura's famous son of a famous soccer player.
Yeah.
So, definitely book it. I like it. That's New Year's Eve worthy. Go ahead.
Because I'm a weirdo. I want to see Sudario versus his brother Taka Kenshin. That to me is a big New Year's Eve match, but probably won't happen. So I figured more likely what would happen is Sudario versus Josh Barnett.
Oh, hey, that'd be awesome. Like I said, I want to see Barnett in here, but I want to see the David versus Goliath matchup. And if
that's David versus Goliath, wouldn't Sudario be the Goliath and Barnett be the David?
No. Barnett's another massive. He's as big as me, maybe a little bit bigger than me. He's a definite heavyweight. That'd be two Goliaths going at it, Sudario and Barnett. But it's a good matchup, though. I like it. Anything, get Barnett in the Rizin. All right, let's keep it rolling. What's the next one?
Yes, we gotta go on. We got finished because we got Bare Knuckle FC on. So I want to make sure to catch that.
Or you mean the Lakers game? No, Bare Knuckle.
Okay. Damian Brown's been calling for a fight. I want to see him back in Rizin. He's not going to make lightweight at this point, and so I think him versus Daichi Abe would be a good fight.
Oh, for welterweight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or catchweight, whatever. But no more Brown at lightweight. Abe is coming off the loss to Tanabe. Listen, Brown hasn't been in there for a while. I think his last fight was a loss, if I remember correctly, in the GP. So listen, they're both on losses. First time Brown is at a higher weight class. Go for it.
I like
Next, Yachi versus Beinoa.
Oh, there you go. Now that's a good matchup right there. I like it.
Name. He got
Beinoa's the name
against Beinoa's the name as well. Listen, I think they're both at the same skill level at this point. I think Yachi has digressed as an MMA fighter, and Beinoa not there yet, but I think he's at the level now where you could take on Yachi and not be like one-sided. That's my opinion.
It's a good couple names fights.
And last but not least, Kana Azakura making her return, taking on Anastasia Svetskiska.
Oh, I like it. Are you sure? Do you want to put Anastasia in there so soon after Landmark 7? She had a fantastic performance there. One of the highlights of the night at Landmark 7. but Kana would be a huge step up in competition for her.
Well,
And
listen,
she got
even
go ahead.
in the Reina fight and the Izawa fight, she did good. And remember, she injured Reina. And in this fight that she had at Landmark 7, she destroyed her opponents. Like,
Yeah, that was her
totally.
first win in Rizin.
Yes.
Both Izawa and Reina beat her. I know you guys don't like to see it, but Reina beat her fair and square. So this was her first win. She just fought. I don't think that's enough turnaround time. But I think Kana is too much of a step up of competition. She's on that Reina Izawa level for a fighter like Anastasia. Anastasia needs somebody else, I think. A
I
little
think
bit
that's fair
lower
because they're
level.
both grapplers. They both are these like very wiry, limber type of girls. I think it's an interesting fight stylistically, in my opinion.
Okay, hey. Well, then, but again, I don't think it's enough time for Anastasia to recover from Landmark 7. But hey, if she's just cleared, it's a good bout. Book it.
Okay. And that's my New Year's Eve card. We are done. Jaywolf, I have to head out very shortly. Where can people reach you and bother you?
Oh, on Twitter at JAYYOLF1. It's misspelled the same way it was way back in when I started commenting on the Yahoo boards in like 06 or 07. Follow me there. I will follow you back if you're a real person and not some bot does ads or whatever. Just follow me and I'll follow you right back. And also in the Rizin Discord server. It's a lot of fun in there. Join the Rizin Discord server, the We Are Rizin Discord server. Get in there. We watch the fights together. It's a lot of fun. Also, you can check me out on Focus Fights Audio with Jay Krish and Daniel Zubeki. And also, this week, we're going to be having a Bellator 301 preview with our friend Teep to the Junk. That's going to be this weekend. Probably it's Wednesday night, American time zone times. Thursday morning, European time zones, and then it'll be dropped on for sure on Thursday, no matter what, in America and in Europe. You can check it out then, and that's on Teep to the Junk's YouTube channel, which is Random Acoustic Thoughts, and it will be the Bellator 301 ridiculously long or inordinately long preview. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And also we're gonna, Teep lets me talk about Rizin as well. We'll go through all the announcements that are gonna happen tonight. There's a presser tonight that's happening. I can't wait to see how many of these, fantasy matchmaking that we just did come to true. And also on the We Are Rizin podcast, I have already thrown my hat in the ring, and Drew has said that I get to come on for the New Year's Eve mega event preview show. I cannot wait to do that with you, Drew. It's gonna be so much freaking fun. Thank you for having me on here to talk about this fantasy matchmaking. It was so much fun. And also, just one last thing I want to say. I just want all the fighters to know the assignment. I want Sakaki Barasan, Baragoat, and Shingo-san to send it in to every single fighter to know the assignment. We want to see the superior rule set awesomeness of soccer kicks, stomps, grounded knees, grounded up kicks, 12-6 elbows, suplex slams, all of it. That's all. That's just have them know the assignment.
I was just gonna look at Twitter so I could just post it on the banner. Hold on 1 second. I was gonna click who did it. But in the meantime, if you want to follow me, it's We Are Rizin Pod. If you want to follow my co-host Jay Christian Gary at Focus Fights, you can follow him at Chris Gary 92 at Focus, and also his thing at Focus Fights. Here it is. Here's your thing. Oh my god, I can't pronounce it.
No, it's Jaywolf. It's misspelled with 2 Y's for easy search results, and because when I created the account way back in the day in the mid 2000s, there was a million different Jaywolfs, and I got frustrated. I didn't want to be Jaywolf, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wanted to be just Jaywolf, so I just did 2 Y's, and that's it. It's just Jaywolf, but misspelled with 2 Y's. That's it.
Yep, and let's see. Here is Chris Gary's 92. We Are Rizin Pod as well. If you want more on Focus Fights, go to this link tree. And as well, I write some for MMA Sucker. And hopefully you enjoyed this little show. What time is the press conference again?
The presser is at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, unless they delay it to 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 midnight Eastern. But I think it's at 8 p.m. for sure. So, and that bodes very well. They're going to have some collaboration with Bellator because it's very early for a presser. So you want to make sure you tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what the bouts are going to be. So, and thanks again for having me on, Drew. This is a lot of fun.
No problem. And thank you for all who joined. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
And then remember our outro. Pride never die. Pride is rising. Peace.